Okay, so something that I knew of, but I did not take care of in advance, was the 24-hour waiting period on YouTube to be able to go live. I knew this. I really did. So I am recording and I will upload it after um, completion as a regular video. My apologies for the YouTube folks. Um, my name is Natalie. Thank you for coming. Uh, Welcome to my new channel, Inner Realm Knowledge. And in this location, we're going to be discussing different concepts related to metaphysics. As I study, I teach so I can become a better student. That's my intention. And so, what we're going to start off with is The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. And if you haven't read the about on my YouTube page, I take a lot of my information from sources that can be found online, either as a PDF, and this one was found on NevilleGoddardPDF.com. It is also available as an audio file, several audio files on this on the YouTube. Um, you may also find it in your local library as an ebook or audiobook. So if you're interested in reading along with me, I'm not going to go word for word. What I'm going to do is give you the highlights of what I found. And so from my notes, The Power of Awareness, Chapter 1 is called I Am. And it reminded me of, from the Kabbalion, the seven Hermetic laws, the mind is all and the universe is mental, seemed to be what it was covering, in that there's a primary consciousness that we're all a part of, usually referred to as God, the Most High, the universe, infinite intelligence. But we're all connected, and that's the bottom line. We are all connected. And what Mr. Goddard said is that I am is a feeling. So at its core, we may not recognize who we are and what we are in this realm of existence, but there's a basic understanding, there's a basic feeling that there's something to it here for us. So we are all I am, he says, and possessing power based in our consciousness and subconsciousness. Sorry, our conscious and subconscious minds, which is boosted by our emotions. Now, I gathered that from what he was saying. Now, let me backtrack a little bit. Mr. Goddard was writing in the early 1900s. Their way of speaking was very wordy, and they used words in different ways from how we use them today. Similar, but it's just a different style of writing. So I guess what you can consider this is the Cliff Notes. um, so based on our conscious and subconscious minds, boosted by our emotions, we are able to use our powers of creation. Now, if you've ever really focused on something that you wanted to get done, a short-term goal, a long-term goal, you focused on it mentally, you took the time and, felt the experience of having it even before you had it, so you involved your emotions. That, along with your physical actions, draws the elements that will complete that for you. So a lot of people are using the term manifesting these days, and that's essentially what it is: combining your conscious thought, your unconscious thought, your feelings, getting everything into alignment, and then taking the action to complete what it is you're trying to accomplish. Um, so we do each other a disservice based on our connectiveness. Because if you accept the understanding that we are all a part of the same consciousness, we are all children of the Most High, We are all elements of the I am. Then, elements of the I am having different experiences in our different bodies on this same realm. Not to say that God needs to become man in order to experience life. No, he is the creator of all things. But we are here as extensions of the great I am, having our individual experiences, coming in contact with each other, either working together or opposing, depending on our mindsets, our consciousnesses. So, uh, based on our connectedness, we do each other a boon by cheering each other's successes and helping our shortcomings, and we do each other a disservice by expressing dislike, jealousy, malice, envy, different forms of discontent. It's to our benefit to cheerlead each other on this journey that we're all taking, and to do our best to promote each other in whatever way that we can to be successful while we're here. Um, my understanding that I grew into a while back based on the African American experience here in the United States, I would tend to say that the experience of slavery not only affected those who were enslaved, but it consciously and subconsciously affected those who were doing the inflicting. Okay? Those who enslaved people had to take on a certain mindset with a level of negativity in order to infringe on the lifestyles, to infringe on the abilities to flourish, to infringe on the qualities of life and the pursuit of happiness of other people for their own personal gains. It's not just us who were, mentally affected by it and physically affected by it for generations. We are still living with the effects on the other side of the people who hold entitlement and are benefiting from the systems that have been set up to promote their success over ours. Moving right along, we decide our individual status, whether he used the examples rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief. But I'm going to say we decide our statuses whether we're rich, poor, healed, broken, in our ego, in our love. Ego and love being two opposite sides, one being more material and one being spiritual. So we can tap into our higher consciousness and gain guidance for ourselves or for others. I am is described as a feeling of permanent awareness. That's what I was talking about earlier. He described it as a feeling of permanent awareness, the center of consciousness. Being aware that we exist is stage one. That's me. Being aware that we exist is stage one. What we do with that awareness determines our range, determines the range of our effect, its quality, the quality of our effectiveness, the level to which we influence, and how much personal power we exercise in this realm. So once we recognize that we have this power, that we exist in a certain way, then we can recognize that depending on our thoughts and our actions, we have say so, we have influence over the quality of our lives, how far we go with whatever it is we pursue, be it scholarly, be it material, be it social, whether we're in a position of authority or we're in a position of um, basic service, cooking someone's food. You can be the best chef there is, and you'll have your people come back to you time and time again because they feel the love from your hands. And believe me, love is an energy that passes into the process of making food. I'm not the only person that says that. All right. So, more to the notes. We decide how we show up in the world. We decide what effect we have outside of ourselves. For example, how do our parents, our children, our coworkers, employees, our friends, and associates perceive us? Are we their monsters? Are we the causers of pain and heartbreaks? Or are we their supporters, their cheerleaders, their sources of pride and admiration? That's two different levels of uh, vibration. I will refer you to a chart. It can be found on Pinterest. I can't remember the name of it right now, but basically it describes, using the chakra colors, the highest level being the indigo, blue, coming down to the green, actually white or clear. That would be the crown chakra. The third eye chakra being more indigo, the throat chakra being blue. Um, the highest elevation would be love, joy, peace, happiness, and the lower levels would be pain, shame, disgrace, humiliation, that type of thing. So anything in between, and my I guess I need to lead you to my little figure there in that the circle on my page. It is a circle of emotions. Basic emotions being in the middle, and the further out you go, the more intricate and the colors that they correspond with. You can also find that on Pinterest. Um, if you want to look for my Comedic Wisdom Pinterest page, you can look for me by name, Natalie Rayburn. Alrighty, and see some of that and a whole bunch of other things. All right, back to the business. So, what kind of energy do we bring to our interactions? And that's an understanding of our socializing. Financially, the questions would be some like, have we decided to lower our income by our reduced effort? Have you found your area of expertise and monetized it? Did you increase your knowledge of investment strategy, cryptocurrency, real estate, social media, healthcare, alternative healthcare, developed a craft that people will buy into? Are you satisfied with social services? Um, we all exist on an even playing field. Despite the program that's been set up, despite the programming that we've been fed from the time that we were young, um, if you decide to break away from that programming, the playing field is even. We equally have the ability to increase our income, increase our knowledge, increase our effectiveness in terms of, what we leave as our legacy in the communities. Um, it's just a matter of deciding what we want to do, putting in the effort. Sometimes it's also a matter of eliciting assistance from people who maybe are guided to help us. A lot of times, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. If you're putting the word out that you're working a certain type of program, people who know people who know people will direct them towards you. If you happen to be online with your hashtags or whatever, the people who are supposed to be in your circle, the people who are supposed to gravitate towards you will gravitate towards you because you're putting the information out there. You're letting your efforts be known. You're putting it on the ethers. Okay. We as individuals can affect the ether, the vibrations between us and other people, between us and circumstances. When you hear spiritual people talking about, Be patient. God is putting it together for you. With your intention, with your decision to have a particular effect, to reach a short-term or long-term goal, um, you're giving off the energy to have that thing happen for you. So all the different aspects, all the different people, all the different conversations that are had even outside of your earshot are taking place in order to work that towards you. I am currently listening to, as I am, the biography of, um, my goodness, Cicely Tyson, and she talks about the different things that came together once she decided that she did not want to be a part of the secretarial pool for 30 years. When she put it on the air that this was not her last stop, you know, she ended up meeting a guy on the street that asked her if she had considered modeling. And that, you know, got her mind moving in that direction. She started looking for modeling agencies. And it was actually someone who knew that she was interested in that brought the information for her to come in contact with an African American ran modeling agency in Harlem at the time, because this was the early 1900s, the 1920s, 30s, 40s, in that time range. Um, so her putting the word out started the vibrations moving in her direction. She started off with being a model, and that branched her into meeting people who were involved in acting. Other African American actors at the time, uh, other coaches, schools where she could learn the skills that she hadn't, gone to school for. Um, started the doors started opening up for her because she declared on that one day, she saw a fellow um, secretarial pool person retiring. They gave her a gold watch, and she was like, 30 years of my life for $100 timepiece is not going to cut it. She had already been working 2 and 3 jobs to support her daughter. And so she voiced out loud that day that it was not going to be her end. That was not going to be, the trajectory of her life. And things started happening. The great I am did what he do, and the doors started opening up for her, even with her resistances. But looking back, hindsight is 2020, and sure enough, it was working in that way for her. So if you want to go ahead and read that book, I'm telling you to do it. Let me continue with my notes here. Oh, so that's in terms of financial. Whatever you put your mind towards, whatever you decide to educate yourself on, the doors will open up as you do your education while you're scrolling through Instagram, while you're scrolling through YouTube. Pages will come up, and related pages will come up that will give you the tidbits that you need and guide you closer to the people you need to come in contact with to get your business handled. All right. In terms of intellectually, have you limited or expanded your knowledge on any subject by way of going to university, trade school, a certificate program, to the library? If you are running your own business, you do not need a degree to prove to others that you know what you know, unless it's the type of business that requires that. And, with the understanding that a university education does not benefit everyone. There are people who graduate, as I'm sure you've heard, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and they are not compensated with the employment to offset that debt in a timely manner. You know, um, a lot of us in the last year and a half have discovered the gig economy or established ourselves. Hello. Hey, sis. A lot of us have um, discovered our talents or really put our talents to work in this last year and a half as an alternative means of supporting ourselves, to use our education to create courses online that can be sold instead of having to go out to the workforce, or after being laid off, using their education to create courses and sell them and to become tutors online. And, a lot of things have moved from being, brick and mortar to online just in the course of this last year. And we probably wouldn't have imagined it before the beginning of 2019. But look how God works. Things open up. The name of the book, the Cicely Tyson book, is called As I Am. It's her biography, and it's a beautiful picture of her with a bald head on the cover. mm. And the book that I'm talking about right now, that I'm getting my notes from, if that was your question, is The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. And I'm in chapter 1. So I'm going to go through the different chapters discussing, you know, the different aspects of awareness. You're welcome. Alrighty. So yes, many of us have talents that we just need to tap into. Um, and where we wouldn't have been able to do it on brick and mortar, we can do it online. The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Um, okay, Um, spiritually, the earth is big and diverse enough to support more than one understanding of worship, engaging with the divine, the Most High, the great consciousness. There is overlap when you look for it. Now, in terms of ideas and concepts, humans have been recycling ideas and concepts for many years. And coming down from the original sources, which usually link back to ancient Egypt and the mystery schools. People disseminate the information, they have taken it in, or, because of their lived experience, they focus on particular aspects of what was taught. And then they go and they teach other people. And I believe that has a lot to do with the diversity of the message that was originally given. But the basics of it is, there is a Most High, or there is an element of energy that is responsible for creation. Um, there is a benefit to rituals, whether you do rituals from one belief source or another, whether it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Taoism, whatever um, whatever rituals are involved provided benefit for the people who practice them. And also, because of the overlap and because of the diversity of humans, they describe the same things using different words. You know, they put the focus on some of the same things involved in ritualism and involved in how to pray and involved in, the process of prayer, meditations of different kind, whether you're using a rosary, whether you're using uh, dhikr beads, whether you're using the Buddhist prayer beads. We have a lot of similar things, and it's not by happenstance. We have we're having a similar experience. We're finding benefit in the same types of things, but we call it different things. Okay, so once you it puts me in mind of an ant on a rug. An ant crawling across a rug will see the immediate fibers in front of them that they have to crawl over. But a human standing on the edge of the rug sees the whole picture of, the ant. They might see the ant, they'll see the designs and what the maker had in mind. So oftentimes we'll miss the commonalities, we'll miss the overlap by focusing on our small piece instead of expanding our understanding and incorporating the understanding that other people also have truth. but they may use different words. They may go about it a different way, but end up with the same results. I think the quote was, "My master's house has many mansions." um, and that speaks towards that understanding. So different languages used to describe some of the same things. Righteousness, as Mr. Neville describes it or defines it, is in being who we are created, birthed, born to be, without infringing on the rights of other people to do the same. Now, Pastor Michael talked about that a couple weeks back. So let me throw this in there right now, since we're on the first live of this channel. A lot of the study related to metaphysics goes in circles. We'll go up the circle, we'll go down the circle, and then there's branches that give more of an explanation of what we've already studied. So you'll hear some of the same concepts, you'll see some of the same things. The more you study, you'll get a deeper understanding. That's what I've come to find. All right, so let me repeat that again. Righteousness is in being who we are created, birthed, born to be, without infringing on the right of other people to do the same. Where the problems come in is where there's envy, where people take up competition, where greed comes involved. These are the root causes of discord, which impedes our ability to work together, to cheerlead each other. You know, with the right understanding, there's no lack except what you put in place. If you put shackles on your mind, that's the limits of your abilities. But if you allow your understandings to expand, then the playing field is wide open. And really, it is a matter of, you know, loosening the chains off your mind. The Bible says, "Be renewed by the changing of your mind." Allow yourself the ability to have free range of the field that we're operating on. All righty. And I quote him as saying, "Everything depends upon its attitude towards itself. That which it will not affirm as true of itself cannot awaken in its world." We're operating in our individual universes, okay? So everything that we're able to do, everything that we're not able to do, is dependent upon our personal attitudes towards that thing. If we affirm it, we open the gates. If we disaffirm it, the gates are closed to us. We make our world big or small based on our thoughts, our willingness to expand our experience here. So some things that you might want to focus on if you do I am mantras would be to say, "I am strong, I am well, I am capable, I am secure, I am loved, I am willing," you know, um, just to get the ball rolling. Those are some of the high vibrational um, repetitions that you want to make. You don't want to speak lack into your life. Thank you, ma'am. You don't want to speak lack into your life by saying, "I can't, I don't have enough, this won't work." I've watched at least two people in the course of my life, and it was kind of painful to watch two people make their world smaller. To imagine to be given a word, to be given a business plan, a three-part business plan. If you do A will fund B. If you complete B, B will fund C. And to get stuck on A because you keep saying, "I don't have, I can't do, this won't work," you're stuck right at the gate. God gives you the vision, the Most High gives you the download, you know, and it's really up to you to take the steps you need to take. Do not shortcut yourself by your language. The language that you repeat to yourself, the language that you speak to other people, brings you the fruit that you have, whether it's plentiful fruit, whether it's bad fruit, is based on the language that you speak to yourself and based on the language that you speak out to other people. So don't go around saying, I don't have, I can't do, this won't work. If you've been given a word from the Most High, take that and run with it because He gives you the ability to complete the task that He opens your mind to grasp. Okay? I don't want to keep running over that point, but it is what it is. Okay. Mr. Goddard says concepts, arrangements may differ. That is, me as a woman, me as a mother, being Ghanaian, a tree being an apple tree, a tree being a fruitful apple tree. Those are just concepts, but the ability is so much broader. We oftentimes want to label ourselves just as certain things, but our abilities are far beyond that. I mean, we can kind of describe our cultural experiences. We can describe our positions in the world. He said if a tree were to speak, it could say, I'm a tree, I'm an apple tree, I'm a fruitful tree. And that would be the example of what you see in front of you. When you know that consciousness is the one and only reality, becoming that which it conceived itself to be, becoming that which it conceived itself to be, you are free from the belief that there are causes outside of your own mind that can affect your life. If you've ever had the experience of having someone in your way, having someone that you knew would do everything that they could do to bring you down, to cut your plans short, and despite their best efforts, doors open for you around them and outside of them that, you know, did not allow them to prevent you from getting to where you were supposed to get. Many people have these stories, okay? People can set up barriers, people can put bad talk about you out on the air, but if you are meant to have a certain thing, if you are sincere and serious about your goals, those people will not stop you. They may end up being your praise team. What they end up actually being, if they're bad talking you, is directing people's attention towards you, and people who may be neutral, people who may be on their side, and people who are willing to jump in and help you row your boat. So when they say no publicity is bad publicity, the people who are bad talking you are putting the attention on you of the people who need to open the gates for you. So let them talk. Don't feel no way about them talking. And that is the truth of the matter. I'm telling you, if we tell enough of our stories, it's very important for us to share our stories. If we tell enough of our stories, we will see the commonalities in our experiences. And let me keep going. We were given a social agreement, the programming, that we participate in, wherein others have defined who we are, what we are capable of, whether we gain understanding of ourselves or not. Other people have put in place this program that we are functioning in. But once your mind is open, you can counteract all of that. As I said, we each live in our own individual universe. We are operating with our connection to the Most High, to the great I Am. We are also I Am. And so we work together and we work together to get things done. Once we're renewed by the changing of our minds. Some people have an interest in us maintaining our given positions, not understanding that we can actively not participate and design our own course. Once again, despite the programming, we can decide not to participate in that program to whatever degree we decide to. If you have, For example, what comes to my mind, the militias in the United States, they're operating somewhat outside of the programming. Um, Preppers, doomsday preppers, they're operating mentally on the outside of the program. Worst case scenario, they're going to have their housing secured, they're going to have their food secured, their water secured, being able to barter and trade. They're operating outside of the system. They have a different understanding of what the possibilities are. And so, folks like them, folks who got into gardening in this last year and a half, a victory garden started because during the war times, the sources to be able to get produce were, restricted. So people had to resort to what they moved off the farm with, the knowledge to grow your own food, to produce your own material needs. So there is only one consciousness, the I am consciousness, which is being expressed as individual entities. That's us. I am is infinite. You are by your concept of yourself. You, by your concept of yourself, are displaying only a limited aspect of the infinite I am. Decide, then take action. And with that, I end chapter 1. Thank you so much for joining me. Um, I plan to continue this every Friday at 7:30, so you're welcome to come back. If you want to pick up the book and start reading, then you can also join me on that. Leave your commentary at the bottom. I read all my messages, and I'm looking forward to continuing this journey. Be well and have a good evening. Ooh, I am changing my email contact. Okay, so if you want to contact me for any more personal discussions, I can be reached at pullyourpowerback@gmail.com. All right, I'm switching over from the Natalie Rayburn at pullyourpowerback.net to pullyourpowerback@gmail.com. Um, if I think of anything else, I'll write it down for next week. Alrighty, have a good evening, and once again, thank you for joining me. My name is Natalie, and I will talk to you soon.